Hello everybody, Flik here. It's time for yet another Let's Look At, and today we are looking at Cube and Star on Arbitrary Love. This is a bit of a weird indie game, not entirely similar to anything I've ever covered in the series, I think, offhand. It's more of a meditative, relaxing kind of experience. It was described to me by the creators, Doppler Interactive, as a story about life, love, and the pointlessness of existence. Now, I have already been playing for about half an hour, however, I deleted my save so that this introduction would play again, and it kind of sets up the general theme here. So I'm just going to press left click and we'll get to hear a little conversation.
In my youth I knew a lot of stars, each with their own breed of starry charm, I suppose. But of all the stars I knew, the memory of one star haunts me. At the time I found its subtle rhythms to be quirky, and the reflection of my faces in its facets to be beautiful. But inevitably it became repetitive, and I left to hop across the world. Now I grow brittle and large, so heavy that the earth itself can no longer bear my pounding, and I sit here and reflect and regret. But you don't want to hear the tired groaning of an old cube. I'll leave you instead with some advice. Fill your heart with joy, do no harm, and leave the world a more colorful place than when you entered it.
So there we go, and that is nice words to live by, quite frankly. So I can use the WASD keys to boing along here as this little cube. I am currently colourless, however, as is most of the world. In fact, if I press this button here, we can see the map. It's rather large, but there is colour kind of appearing in certain places. That's because there are things within the world colouring it. Like, I don't know if you saw during that conversation, there was a little bumblebee type thing floating around, leaving that yellow trail there. So the goal, if it can so be said, is to bring colour and joy and whatnot to the world. There are stats that track how much of the world you've explored, how much of it's coloured, how many collectibles and things you've found, and there's this general just relaxing tone to everything. And if I bang into some trees, I should be able to maybe take a colour, like green. Now when you do get coloured, you start spreading that colour as you move, but you lose the colour the more cubes, squares, whatever, that you move in. So you need to replenish your colour or change your colour. Leaving home done, that's me just achieved that. I wonder what colour I'll get if I mix those. It's just basically whatever colour you hit last. You can't seem to overwrite colour. I wonder if I can actually talk to this bee. I never tried this off camera. Can I talk to you? Oh, I can. Joy is vibrating yellow, but he's speaking a language I do not yet understand. That's a shame. Meet a hovering jitterer. Jitterer? Whatever. So this is basically all there is to Cube and Star and Arbitrary Love. You are just exploring and relaxing. Now, if you don't like these kind of games, yeah, that's another language I don't understand, so I have no idea what I just picked up. Oh, a history entry. Okay, interesting. You explore, you bring life to the place, you reflect on what you see. Sometimes the game makes you question things, sometimes it makes you... Well, I don't want to spoil too much, but let's see if I can find a few collectibles to illustrate a point here. The descriptions for some of them are a little bit mocking, I think. I'm not entirely sure if that's the point, but it's kind of like, well, yeah, you just found a joyous, sublime, materializing beauty thing. And it's like, well, yeah, but what's the point? There isn't really a point. And also there is a night and day cycle. I think you can affect it actually, because I've managed to make it rain kind of accidentally on purpose a few times. And I don't think this is going to be a particularly long video, because you have already decided whether what you've seen so far is something you can find relaxing or if you can get. I would compare it possibly to the likes of Proteus, although that's a bad example from my point of view, because I didn't get Proteus, I just didn't like it. Whereas I found this exceptionally relaxing. There's something about the spreading of colour, the fact you can change your colour as you go, like now I'm going to match colours with this guy. Oh no, that was a tree, never mind. Well, this guy's moving. Can I speak to you? I can. There's a sadistic pleasure in jostling a tree. There you go. And all the nice happy little sound effects as you bang into trees. And there's a lot of world here. It does seem like it's a fairly small sphere that you're on, but when you go back to the map, I've barely covered anything in this bottom right corner. There's a lot to do. I'm not entirely sure if there's an overarching goal per se. I don't know what happens when you collect everything because I haven't focused on that really. I've just been enjoying kind of bouncing around. You are able to burn down sections of the world. I don't know if that's some kind of metaphor for perhaps the pointlessness of it. I haven't actually tested it, I just know it's possible. Now I wonder if that was it raining because I hit this or because it was random. And there's the collectibles in the top right there. I've covered 3.01% of the world in colour. That's with the help of everybody else also spreading colour, like the bee type thing down there, I think. Because I haven't really been moving around that much. I'm actually finding less collectible type stuff now than I was off camera before I started. Some of them just seem to pop up randomly, but I do think you have to spread colour for them to appear. So I'm kind of focusing on moving around a bit more. And I guess I can talk about a little about... Oof, I messed that sentence up, didn't I? I can talk a little about how you can get the game. Also, I just realised how many of those collectibles there are. 216! Wow! If you have OCD, this may not be the game for you. Still, this game is just on Steam, and that's the version I am playing. It has achievement support if you're into that kind of thing. It also supports Mac and Linux. You can also get it from a Humble storefront, I believe. And if I remember, I'll link to that in the description box below as well. But for sure, the Steam store page will be linked below. It's $6.99, that is in British pounds, so I think in dollars that would make it $11.99, I think. I should never do these comparison currency conversions, because I'm never 100% sure which way it goes. But still, in pounds it is definitely $6.99 because I checked before starting. Is that a fair price for what you get here? Well, to go back to a point I was kind of dancing around earlier, if you're into this kind of relaxing atmosphere of a game where you can just kind of generally move around, I don't think it's possible to lose, I don't think it's possible to die. Ancient stones crumble, and from the dust emerges a sky blue gem. With what to do, I don't know, although I did get progress towards another challenge. So yeah, if you're into the likes of Proteus, and I just realised I think I'm making grass grow when I walk now. I'm not sure what I picked up that made me do that. So, interesting. Well, that's a nice maroonish red there. I'm going to take that. Thank you. An earthly fruit. You can just boing along here. So, this is definitely not the kind of game, for example, that you would do a Let's Play of. You just couldn't, because it's a personal experience. It's just nicely boinging along. I mean, what would you talk about? Eventually you would run out of things to talk about. Let's talk to this green cube, speaking of talking to things. Fertile bouncing green, it turned into a blue triangle. And spoken a language I have yet to understand again. Inform your bounding with advice from a leaper. Done. Well, it said over, but it just changes the language. Oh, there's a couple of collectible things there. As it starts to rain. I'm not sure if that makes you lose your colour faster or not. Mysterious Fear Oak. Me over here. And we'll pick this up. What does this say? You pocket a regular salary check. You feel valuable. Dominant. I hope you get the kind of the undertones of this kind. This is what I was meaning. I wanted examples like this. The ground shudders. History is betrayed. You have extracted the mysterious body of an unattainable aspirations. So you see what I mean? It's kind of reflecting on aspects of your life and, depending on your opinion, the pointlessness of it. Does that mean that the game has a depressing tone? I don't think so, because maybe, and this might be my own kind of opinions reflecting here rather than an unbiased observation here, but I think maybe that the point of the game, at least to me, appears to be that a lot of things that you think are important aren't, like career, like collecting things, like finding value in things that aren't actually valuable in the grand scheme of things. And you should just be concentrating on what that unmovable cube said at the start, the big one that spoke like Stephen Hawking. You just want to leave the world a more colourful place than when you left it, and that's a goal to aspire to that's perhaps more valuable than other things that you concentrate on in your life. And it's a good message, assuming that is a message. Maybe it's one of those things where you take from it what you want. And maybe you've been watching this far and disagree and see some other meaning behind what is happening here. But regardless, it is definitely not something you can just talk about for hours on end. It's something you play for yourself, and you take some value from when you're done. And I think I'm kind of going to have to start wrapping up here because I don't really have anything else to say. I hope that you've found this enjoyable, and if you have, I highly encourage you to pick it up either via the Humble Store or the Steam Store. Or if you know someone who's into this type of game, like I said, I compare it to the likes of Proteus in terms of there's no goal per se. It's more about the exploration and kind of interacting with your world. Now we've got 3 different collectibles here, so let's see what all these say before I stop here. Searching for meaning but coming up empty, you discover a 6-faced hub of deceptive refractions. Searching for meaning but coming up empty, you discover a celestial body of pointed inclinations. Amazing! After eons of slumber, you unearth a 6-faced orb of pointed inclinations. There you go. Take from that whatever you want. So, to wrap up, this has been Cube and Star, an Arbitrary Love, a game about love, life, and the pointlessness of existence. I agree. I like it. I like it a lot better than Proteus. Partly just because of the spreading of colour. I like that a lot. I find it incredibly relaxing. I've been playing a lot of high tension games recently, and this was a welcomed breath of fresh air. It's not going to be for everybody. I am well aware of that, and I'm sure the creators are as well. But if this is your type of game, you could do a lot worse than giving this one a look. You may disagree with the price being a bit high for a game which technically doesn't have much to it, but you have to remember the work that got put in to make this kind of thing. And it's up to you to decide what value that has, or doesn't, as the case may be. You discover a regular salary check. You feel valuable, dominant, again. And this will be the last pickup I get. The dust settles and reveals an unceasing hub of pointed inclinations, again. So yes, Cube and Star and Arbitrary Love by Doppler Interactive, $6.99 on the Steam Store. My name has been Flik. This has been some gaming stuff, a bit different to what I usually cover, but something I wanted to because I enjoyed my time with this so much, and I probably will go back to it anytime I want to relax. Thank you for watching, and with me picking up another inclination, a mysterious body of social valuation. That's strangely apt. With that, I'm going to go. Thank you everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Sorry if this was a bit short, but I hope you understand why, and ta-ta for now.